I'll just go ahead and get started. So, welcome. This is What They Call Games, Linkums. Yeah, Ryan, also, you may know me as. And I got to go to E3 again this year, by good luck, because Nintendo gave me a free pass. And if you ask me how, it won't even matter. I just am lucky. Basically, that's it. So yeah, here's my pass. Cover up my last name like it's not even a secret, but yeah, pass. And I got the it says Expo Pro at the bottom, which I believe is promotional, and it also came with this Persona 5 get a free thing, which was this hat and this enormous Persona 5, did I say 3? I meant 5. Persona 5 bag, which you could just run by and grab. For the hat, you had to get a stamp card and play 2 of their demos, which was surprisingly an ordeal. But we'll get to that in due time. There are a bunch of free things, but yeah, basically how it works. First thing in the morning, or I guess you could go earlier as well, you get your pass, you get your badge, and I did not have authorization to do the press conferences, but I got to do the show floor demos for 3 days. That's, what is that, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? So I was actually on the plane on Monday morning, and I missed some of the press conferences and had to catch up. Everybody else knew more than I did, and I was the one actually going. But let's see, so you get your pass, you go into the main hall. Sounds good, John Gaines. Welcome. Let me know if the audio needs to be fixed. So you go in, and I wanted to show you exactly, they have these magazines. Each day they have the E3 Daily magazine, and mostly it shows some of the games that were announced and that they have to demo, and some interviews and whatnot. But for a lot of people, sounds good to me. Good, excellent. The most useful thing in these magazines are the maps, and the place is quite big. There are 2 main halls that have the demos, and then they're sort of separated by a long hallway, which also has some demos. But so like this is one. I don't know if you can even see it. What am I looking at? Sony, Nintendo, Oculus, and some other third parties. So that's one hall. Upstairs there are meeting rooms for like business. I mean, most of the people at E3 are pretty much not like me. They actually work in the industry and do gaming news or work for game companies, and so they're having meetings upstairs or whatever. Let me see if I can find. There's a food court, you know, that sort of thing. Where's the other map for the other hall? Whatever. Basically, there's 2 halls and they're both big. Oh, here it is. So you got like Capcom, Square Enix, other third party, Ubisoft. I don't know, they're both pretty big. So usually it's good to dedicate a day to each, and then a day to fill in the gaps of what you missed. So, anyway, I got there. No, they don't sell general admission. You have to be in the industry, and even in the industry, you have to. The tickets cost like $900 something. But I was lucky and got one for free from Nintendo. So all I had to pay was the. I had to pay my flight and my hotel. Except I didn't go to a hotel because I'm even cheaper than that. I did Airbnb. So yeah, that's how I just got really lucky. I'm telling you, like, it's just super luck is how I got to go. So. You get your pass, you go to wherever hall you're trying to get to. Hey there, Marks, welcome. So I usually as in, this is my second time only, but I go to the hall that has Nintendo and Sony. Yeah, seriously, I guess they had nothing better to do with their passes. So I went to the hall that has Nintendo, Sony, Oculus, and since I missed Oculus Rift last year, I went and was going to head at that first thing. And while we were waiting, they had like TVs set up with the Twitch streams of whatever was going on currently. So while I waited, I watched the Nintendo Treehouse thing with the Zelda announcement, and lots of Pokemon that I wish they would switch back to Zelda. and everybody else was watching that too, or playing on the 3DSs, or just talking to whoever else is in line. And there's always really cool people in line. Like, I was in line the first day with a guy that did motion tracking acting for one of the Friday the 13th things. I missed the beginning of the conversation. I think it was for the game, but he did like the stabbing animations and like other animations for that. So that was a random interesting thing. I know, yeah, it took forever to get back to Zelda. I gave up on it and just tried to get back to the front of the line, because it was basically a huge crowd. I don't think I have a good picture. I'll post a link. I shared a link that they posted. Let me get the address. Okay. Oh, also in like the main lobby they had. Let me see. Do I have this up on my other photos? I might not. No. In the main lobby they also had like a giant Tekken statue and a giant fat chocobo you could get a picture with. And you get a picture on it, actually. Let me get a link to that one also. I have these pictures somewhere else, but there's a few that were just on my phone. Alright. So I got there like an hour and a half to 2 hours early, just waiting outside the door to get into the demos. And like I said, I missed Oculus last year, so I was going to rush that, and I figured everybody would be rushing Zelda, so I was planning to hit that up the second day, which is what I did. So Oculus Rift, I got to do Oculus Rift Touch, which is the new upcoming handheld motion track controllers, and so those were pretty cool. I didn't get to choose what demo I was going to do. I actually had the opportunity to do a part of their live stream with the founder of Oculus, but there was like some confusion about whether I would get in or not, so I ended up not doing that, and it seemed like everybody was pretending to be extremely happy anyway, so I just did myself, and I ended up with this hockey goalie demo, which was pretty alright, but it wasn't mind-blowing. Basically, you're in the goal, and you have your thing on, and you have your stick in one hand and your giant goalie glove in the other hand, and you have to like swing around and look, and the people come at you with the puck, and you have to block it. You can sort of tell when your stick is on the ground because the controller rumbles a bit. And after you block enough shots, then it zooms out and you like fly down the arena, whatever you call a hockey thing, and get like a big shot and swing both. And I don't know, you can unlock fights and you have to like physically throw down your gloves and then punch. It's like Punch Out, I guess. And so you could do like different uppercut side thing and bam him right in the face. It was really super easy though. Like they never get a chance to fight back. And that game actually crashed on me at one point, doing nothing in particular, so they had to restart the demo. They're like, oh, that'll be fixed for launch. It'll be fine. That was one of like 3 games that I glitched. One of the others was Gravity Rush 2. I soft locked that by doing some transformation into a cutscene. And Lego Worlds, I hookshotted into a treetop and got like infinite jump into the sky. Well, it was partly their fault. The Gravity Rush, they told me to do that, so it wasn't even my fault. It was totally their fault. So, yes, that was Oculus Rift. After Oculus Rift, actually, let me pull up a picture here. I met this cool guy right outside Oculus Rift. You may recognize him as the one and only Trihex. I just happened to see him, like, oh hey, it's Trihex. You don't know who I am, but I know who you are, so we got a picture. And then we went on our separate ways. And my separate ways were primarily indie games. You saw the tweet of that. I really like doing indie games because, like, most of the new games don't get me too super excited. The indie games have a lot shorter lines, and there's also the benefit that, like, the developers are usually right there at the booth, and you can ask them absolutely anything, and they'll know the question, they'll know the answer for it. So that's really neat. That's what I like to do. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I hit up the... Shoot, what's the company called? It's the developer that did, they're publishing a few different things, so now I don't remember. They had... I know they had Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, but it wasn't WayForward's booth. Here we go. They had somebody dressed as Shantae for the Shantae demo. Whoops. Yep. She couldn't do any transformations, though, so it was a huge disappointment. I don't even know why they had her. She couldn't do transformations. Total garbage. So, let's see. Oh, this is from the Oculus booth. They had, like, a general area with the controller, and then they had like a longer line for doing the touch controllers upstairs. They had this thing walking around. This is totally different day and time, but they had this thing walking around like a robot dinosaur, and it had this whirring noise that was super creepy. And it snuck up on me, and I was surprised. That's the story on that. Some of these pictures got out of order. But anyway, indie games. Yeah, this is another indie game, which I got to talk to the developer a lot on. This is called Everything. And the gist of it is you wander around this universe actually, and absolutely every object and animal and plant and everything in the game is a playable character, and you can just hop into it and bounce around with it. And it was actually really fun. There's hardly any goal. There's like little thought bubbles that pop up that you can try to go after, and it unlocks stuff, I guess, like cheat code kind of options. But there's just a bazillion things. Like here I'm microscopic level as a baby seal, but you can also control galaxies or buildings and like hop around and dance with other buildings and talk with buildings and like reproduce and make baby buildings or absolutely any object like that. A wolf pack, and it'll have funny stuff like the wolves. You'll expect the wolves to run, but the wolves like tumble over themselves like a 3-frame animation of Sonic. And it's just like random unexpected things like that the whole time. And so it kind of reminded me of Goat Simulator, like one of those YouTube meme games, but it was actually pretty fun. PlayStation VR stuff. I didn't get to try that this year because they had the way to do the PSVR demos, you had to sign up with an app for a time slot. And the time slots opened at the same time that the doors to the showrooms opened, and so everybody was on their phones, like, refreshing and clicking the join button constantly, and so everything filled up for this, like, within a minute. And, yeah, so I didn't get in. They had some interesting things. They had, like, a Psychonauts one that I was interested. They had Rez, of course, the new things that got announced. I don't know what else. Look at this guy having so much fun with PlayStation VR. Was this called Farpoint, I think? I don't know. People seem to be, excuse me, hyped about this one. Oh, here we go. This is the main hall. Like, this is not in the demo area, but they had this Tekken thing, and you can see the fat chocobo in the background. Well, I have this really tiny, but yeah. This on the second day, since these are out of order, I'm just going through the pictures. What the heck? Second day, my plan was to rush Zelda, and so I was there pretty early, and I got to hang out with this guy, who was the translator and localization specialist for, Axis Games, and he worked on the third Zero Escape game, Zero Time Dilemma. So he was really interesting to talk to, because I'm into translation stuff, I majored in Japanese, and so he has like my dream job, and I love that series, it's super good. So we had like 2.5 hours of waiting, because we waited outside the door and then we rushed the Zelda booth and waited in line for another 1.5 hours. And so we just like talked about translation stuff the whole time. I actually interviewed him, and there's a YouTube video up that I put of our interview that had no plans and just questions off the top of my head. But he was a really interesting guy. Just like, there's interesting people everywhere at E3. It's crazy. But I was glad that I had him with the Zelda line. Let's see. Oh, also in the Zelda line, you may recognize this guy. Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario. So he was going around consoling people in the back of the Zelda line who had like 3 hours to wait by, doing his Mario stuff, like woohoo and all that. So I ran out of line and got a picture with him quick, just like spontaneously. My eyes are kind of like cross-eyed, but don't worry about it. Yep, he was doing autographs and stuff. I didn't get an autograph, but it was pretty cool. I saw him from across the way. The Zelda line, he is super friendly, this guy. He is awesome. The Zelda line, even though we rushed it and we were pretty far ahead on the main line, like, the line kept forming. Let me minimize this so I can do my hand motions. The line was, like, forming as we were going to the end of the line, so, like, we were racing to get to the end of the line, and the end just kept moving out of reach until it was around the back corner of Nintendo's booth. And so it, like, even though we were right in front and got there early, we still had to wait an hour and a half for Zelda. Let's see, I think these are somewhat in order. Let me just bring this up a little bit more again. So this is just a random view from the Zelda line out into the area. Sony's is over on the right, and some other like third-party stuff is over here. GameSpot. I think Twitch was in the other hall. Microsoft you can't see, but it's like over beyond. And Nintendo Treehouse was there on the way to the Zelda demo, doing their live stream in plain view. I believe this is when they were playing Mario Party Star Rush, which everybody I'm sure is super excited for. Just kidding, I have no idea. Oh, this is totally not Zelda at all, but this is Phoenix Wright, which is also pretty cool. I gotta just... We don't even need me in the picture right now. Look at this. Look at Phoenix Wright. There. Wow. They had, whatever the new one is. I'm not looking too much into the new one, because I still need to catch up. I have a lot of them to catch up on, actually, so... I'm a fan, but I didn't actually play the demo, because I didn't want to spoil anything, just in case. I believe I have my Zelda pictures in a different album here, so let's hop over to that, talk about Zelda. So that's what everybody wants to hear about, and we'll go back to indie games whenever I think about indie games. So, got a lot of Zelda stuff. Look at this. The Zelda art. It's beautiful. It was on the wall, and the walls were huge. Next. Entrance to the Zelda booth. So this was like the Nintendo Treehouse stuff was to the left of the amiibo spot here, and the line went into this tree kind of thing, and inside that was a dungeon looking room. We might have the amiibo pictures before that, which they had like an in process, the making of an amiibo thing, and these very nice looking Zelda series amiibo. Don't even know what they do, but they look pretty snazzy. I want them for my shelf. So, you go into Nintendo's area, and they have this dungeon-looking room that you sit in, and there's like lights on the walls and whatever, and people welcoming you in. You take a seat, and they let in like a group at a time, however many fill the seats. And then they show you this gameplay trailer on the wall that sort of demonstrates the things you can do in Zelda. It wasn't exactly the trailer that they showed when they first first announced the game, but it was pretty cool, and it was pretty funny too. I think people were just like giddy to be there, but there were some funny parts. Just like Link's animations are just, I don't know how to say it besides they're cute. So, for example, when he eats food, he just goes like nom 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 nom, and like even if it's soup, he'll just nom 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 the soup. Or the shivering animation whenever you're not fully equipped for cold weather. He'll just be like shivering on the inventory screen. It's just like, I don't know, it's cute. So people were like chuckling about that. So you do this, and then at the end of the video there's this animation of the wall rising up like it's a dungeon doorway, and then the wall actually rises up in real life, and you get to go into their huge demo area, which has all these huge statues, like this giant bokoblin on a thing. The walls were like really beautifully painted. There was like grass floor, not actual grass, but grass looking carpet. Several demo sections. This is where my demo was, under this old building looking thing. They had the giant food. This is the demo screens. So excuse me. I also got a souvenir cold. Did I mention that? So they had 2 demos that we got to play. There was like yeah, 10-minute demo, 15-minute demo, and one was exploration-based, one was story-based. Although with the story-based one, you could also explore, which is what I did. I just explored for both demos, because it was fun. Controls that you can't see, but if you're interested, I do have my latest post on whattheycallgames.com is detailed impressions of Zelda. The controls, well, I can give a slight rundown of, like, not necessarily how they all work, but they're very good. They're half very good and half not so good. Arrow shooting is really good because you could do you push R and aim with the gyro. You might be able to aim without the gyro, but I just instinctively used it and it was really easy. And you can switch equipment with the D-pad and holding down a certain button, and so you don't have to open your inventory screen, and that's really fast and smooth. The thing that wasn't the perfect thing was if you wanted to run and jump at the same time, you had to basically use 2 fingers on the right side to push down the run and jump button at the same time. And then if you wanted to use like the camera joystick on the right side also, then you have like 3 things going on at the same time. So I and a couple other people asked about remappable controls, and they said that we weren't the first to ask, and that they would let somebody know that there's interest, and it wasn't definite whether there were remappable controls in the final game or not, but there weren't in the demo. So hopefully the final game will have something like that, because they're almost really good controls, but sometimes you're going to want to push certain 2 buttons at once that you can't do easily. So it'd be nice if you can switch them up. Let's see, we got a map of where I was. Can't see it very well probably, but once again it's on the blog. I found a fire rod during my demo, which was cool, because you can burn everything, and then the fire spreads, and the wind will blow the fire, and that's pretty cool too, and everybody likes burning things down, so that should be a good time. I found this statue that looks like it's from Skyward Sword, so that's cool. And one of my biggest worries with Zelda, since it was announced, and since there were all these rumors about it being open world, I was always worried that it would be, like, big world with nothing in it, but there's actually, like, I'm not so worried about that now. There's definitely stuff in it. There's lots of things to collect, although some of it might be the sort of thing you just end up avoiding after a while. But there's stuff to collect, there's stuff to kill, there's, you know, sort of, I guess, the mini dungeons. There's other structures that have hidden chests in them. So, like, I found, at one point I went into this, like, old, it looked like the sanctuary kind of thing from A Link to the Past. So I went into that, and I found a chest that had a bow in it, but I didn't have any arrows. And then the guy next to me, he was like, oh, I found arrows, but I don't have a bow. And so I was like, I got the exact opposite problem. We gotta, like, trades or something. But, of course, you can't trade, because it's a single-player game. That would be silly. But, yeah, so here's just a little bit more of the scope of their demo area. It was very large and very pretty. Alright, I'm talking. That's me. Once again, you probably can't see this very well. Me with the Zelda statue. Perfect, because I'm Linkums. Excellent. So much fun. Giant chest. Giant bad guy. Yeah, lots of giant things. Alright, good. That was Zelda. Hooray. It's the sort of game, it reminds me of, reminded me a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles with just, like, really nice views. Like, I wanted to just explore things just to see the views. I'm sure there's stuff hidden too, but, like, even if all I saw was a good view, it would have been worth it to explore. Like, that's how I felt about it. I could have just been enjoying myself taking screenshots, just, like, going to scenic points and taking screenshots. That's how much fun I could have with the game just from that. Like, and there's just so many things you can do. Like, you probably already saw in the trailer and the Treehouse videos, but, like, just all the little things you can do. It's so entertaining just to screw around. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to some of the indie games I tried. So there was Shantae and, let's see, Shantae Half Genie Hero. Plays like a Shantae game, except it's less Metroidvania-like, apparently. It's more like sequence of linear levels with some secrets off to the sides, and I guess you can, like, go back to previous levels and find secrets with your new abilities. Let's see, there was a Toho game, strangely enough. There was a Toho hack and slash dungeon crawler game for PS4, I think, which was average. Average hack and slash dungeon crawler, but it was Toho, so people will get it because they're Toho fans. And it did have some like bullet hell elements, so some of your shots would just be like bullet streams going out. And I got to a boss that had, you know, bullet hell kind of attacks that you would dodge or jump over, so that made it somewhat more interesting. But otherwise, pretty much just it's a generic kind of hack and slash. Let's see. I should go to my Twitter feed to remind myself of what I played, because it's been a week now. Let's see. Talked about everything game. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not as prepared as I could be for this. Ah, dude. Okay, Bound. I didn't even write about this yet, but Bound was really, really cool art style. It's, I think it might just be PS4 exclusive. I don't have a picture of it. You can Google Bound trailer. But I think it's Bound as in, like, leaps and bounds, because your character is almost like a dancer, and there's all these, like, weird polygon things that, like, flip and turn inside out and, like, unfold and spin around. You're like, thank you. Thank you for that. They're made out of cardboard and paper and paint. But Bound had some of the really, like, the coolest art design I've seen, most original art design I've seen anytime recently, so that was really neat to see. The gameplay was just like a run and jump, wall jump, 3D, but it was just a demo, so it was pretty simple, but you should look up Bound just to see how cool the art is. Then I tried Gravity Rush 2. I never played Gravity Rush 1, but Gravity Rush 2 seemed a whole lot like 1 looked, and I was really, really bad at it because my camera controls were reversed from what I'm used to. My friend made the Ghost and gave it to me for Halloween one year, and yeah, me and my friend made the Game & Watch ourselves with duct tape around the edge. But yeah, I was really bad at Gravity Rush 2. I didn't play the first one, so I can't really tell you what's new and different, but I did soft lock that because of doing a transformation into a cutscene. That was probably just the demo kind of glitch. Like, you wouldn't normally have that transformation at that part of the game, but since it was a demo, they weren't prepared for it. But, I don't know, Gravity Rush, you fly around and change gravity. It's cool, I guess. It's probably pretty cool. It's probably a pretty cool game. Oh, Abzu, spelled A-B-Z-U with a little caret over the U, however you type that. Abzu, if you've played Journey, it's basically like Journey underwater, and I've heard that a lot. I've had my eye on it for like 2 years probably, and I finally got to play it, and it really is just like Journey, but underwater. It's like you can't die, you just swim underwater and see like the beautiful scenery and get to the end. And the first time I actually played this demo twice, because I only played half of it the first time, but it feels like you're exploring and discovering new paths all over the place. It turns out there's really only one path, but it's designed in such a way that makes it feel like you're discovering the path rather than like being pushed along the path. So if you're into art games, Abzu is very, very pretty, and it's got really nice music. Same composer as Journey and Horn, I think. I don't know. It's Austin Wintory. He's done a bunch of really pretty soundtracks. So Abzu is also by Austin Wintory, and I recommend it if you're into art games, as I am. Also tried Rain World, which is a 2D pixel art, like, exploration kind of game. Exploration survival. Apparently it's been in development for like ages. I didn't even hear about it until this E3. But that was a really cool game. You're like this white little fox-looking thing, and you run and jump and climb on everything, and there's enemies, and there's a rain cycle. I'm definitely looking forward to Zelda most, and Recore was my second favorite. Let's see, so yeah, with Rain World, there's a cycle every so often, every certain amount of time, there's this pouring rain that falls down, and it's like the freakiest, scariest rain effect ever. It's like space-devouring static that just comes down in the background, and when the rain comes, you like better the heck get to a shelter or you're dead. And if you get to a shelter and you haven't eaten enough, then you're also dead. And there's also like predators everywhere, so you're pretty much dead all the time. And you can pit the predators against each other if you know their behaviors. And it sort of plays like a Metroidvania, except the developer was telling me there aren't really upgrades. He wanted to avoid the feeling in games where you get to be like god powerful by the end of the game and nothing's a challenge anymore. So basically everything's always a challenge. You don't really get stronger. You just gain knowledge about how the game works. So it's like a Metroidvania, except that instead of getting upgrades, your progress is dependent on your knowledge of the game. So if you're good and you know what you're doing, then you can get places early. Or just get to new places. Let's see, that after that, that was when I went to the Atlas booth to try to get this hat, because I'm all about the hats, and grab this bag that I showed earlier, the giant Persona 5 bag. That was easy enough. Like I said, the hat, to get the hat you had to get a stamp card and play 2 of their demos, which was, you know, all fine and dandy, except everybody was after this hat, and their demo booth was like this narrow area with demos on each side, and so everybody is crammed in. You can't tell which line is for what demo, and it's just, it was a nightmare. Like, if you were fat, you would have no hope, because you have to like push your way in. So I just tried whatever demos were available. So I played the Hatsune Miku Project Diva X, because I've played F-Second, and it was basically the same as that with like a couple new features, and I destroyed it. Got super high score. And then I waited in line forever for this 3DS RPG. Let me see if I think I maybe like retweeted the title of it or something. Seventh Dragon 3 Code VFD. Yes. It's yet another RPG for 3DS. I don't know what to say. It's another RPG. It looks good. It's got 3D graphics and it seems like a good game, but it's hard to say. It's hard to get a feel for RPGs from a demo. You really have to play a lot of an RPG to know if it's going to be good or not. Yeah, I spent like my entire time in line trying to decide if it was VFD or UFO. Actually, I thought it was VFO. I didn't even consider that the last letter was a D, because the font's really weird. Whatever. Let's see. I'm scrolling up to see what else I did. So we did Zelda on day 2. What did I do after Zelda? I don't even remember. Final Fantasy 15. Once again, I haven't been following that as closely as some people, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty epic. I fought a giant golem kind of creature. It wasn't a golem exactly. It was way more giant, but it had giant hands that would crush you. I think it's in the trailer. And you had to like... There were a lot of... It felt like quick time events, but it wasn't completely. It was like more tutorial, this is how you do an attack, and use it now. Probably the coolest thing I remember from that demo was if you use Blizzara, it would affect like the ground around you and actually like put frost on your characters. And that carried over to cutscenes too. So I used Blizzara. Yeah, final. Everybody's been making that joke forever, Sam. So you would use Blizzara. I used it right before a cutscene, and all the characters were still like frost in their hair and their faces during the cutscene, and I was impressed by that. Little thing, but I thought it was really cool. Let's see, I tried Just Cause 3 Mechland Assault, which I guess is DLC. I don't know. I never played Just Cause 3, but basically I grappled onto everything and drove vehicles into other vehicles and off of cliffs. And it was pretty fun. Let's see, there was the Natsume booth. Right? Natsume booth. What was I after Natsume? Oh, I also gotta show you this. At the Zelda booth, you got a free t-shirt, which is quite nice. My favorite souvenir of the trip. Quite a nice t-shirt. And that's not all. A Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild coin. not official legal tender, but it is a coin nonetheless. So, at the Natsume booth, you pretty much just got this for nothing. Harvest Moon bag. But what people were really after, with another stamp card, you could get one of these. The Gabrielle's Ghostly Groove 3D figurine. Wow. And once again, you had to get a stamp card. That one you had to play 3 demos, and you could get 1 stamp by following them on Twitter. So I was like, alright, here, I did the thing. But I got lucky with that because they had their stamp cards. They were giving them away at certain times of the day because of crowds that would come. But I saw them like give one away to somebody else, and I was like, hey, I saw that, I want one too. So I got in when there were no lines. And so then I played, let's see, what 3 demos did I play? I played River City Tokyo Rumble on 3DS, which was like the River City Ransom game for NES, but much more modern, but still a lot like the original. So that was cool. I was never really a fan of that on NES because I got lost and I was bad. But it seems a lot more like has the modern conveniences of making sense. So there's that. Wild Guns Reloaded, another classic remake. That was on PS4, I think, and that's the Super Nintendo Wild West, like, rails shooter, I guess, except the rails don't go forward, they go to the side, and you shoot bad guys, and don't let your main guy get hit, and it was... I almost spilled my soda. It was really hard. The other 2 people I was on a team with were really good, and I was not. And, yeah. It was an embarrassment. And then I played that Ghostly Groove game, which was a rhythm game, and you pretty much just, like, push buttons with... or swipe. What was it? Tap or swipe? Tap and swipe with the thing that it shows. Which was fine. I'm all about the rhythm games, so I'd probably like it. Let's see, there are a couple other indie stuff. Inversus. Inversus was a really cool game. Once again, I have details on that on my blog, whattheycallgames.com. You can see it below. There's the link all over there, and videos on YouTube. Woo, yeah, so exciting. Inversus was really cool, actually. It's a very simple concept. Multiplayer thing. You have like this grid of white and black tiles, and you fly around as one-on-one or as teams, and you try to shoot each other, but you're not actually shooting each other, you're trying to flip the tile that the other person's on. So you can only go on the opposite color tile of yourself, and then the other tiles are going to be walls to you. And everywhere you shoot, it makes a line that flips the tiles to the other color. So you have to strategically flip tiles to like trap your opponent and make paths for yourself, and get power-ups or destroy power-ups. You can also charge your own shot. You have limited shots, though, before they have to recharge, so you have to strategically be shooting. And if you charge your shot, then you're stuck in that direction, pointing that direction, but you can do like 3 in a row. Anyway, it's just like a really strategic, fast-paced multiplayer indie game that looks like it'll be really fun. It reminds me of classic Bomberman multiplayer because of the like trap the other guy kind of gameplay, and don't get trapped yourself. Very cool. Simple, but very cool. Let's see, there was a early childhood interactive plush that you put an iPad in the front that had an app on it, and then you would read a storybook along with the thing, and certain parts in the storybook had velcroed objects that you could take out of the book and scan them into the toy, and it would react. And so it had like pattern recognition for like little kids. Oh, which one's the striped fish? Or that kind of thing. Write your name on the fish and put it in the basket, and it would actually read your name and say good night so and so at the end of the book. And it could also detect like wiggling the octopus's arms or giving it a hug or whatever. It was just like a cute, overly expensive child's toy, but it was very interesting. Like, even though I don't see that ever being cost effective for anybody, I liked seeing the like gaming concepts being used in a different way. So, I don't know. The proof of concept I thought was interesting, but I can't imagine too many people actually buying it. But then again, Some people like to spend money. Let's see. There was a Dragon Quest Minecraft ripoff. I didn't actually play it. Oh, when I was in line at the Natsume booth, there was the Super Soul Brothers playing a live concert, which was really nice. I recommend checking them out. They took requests, and somebody requested Smash Brothers, and so they just played like Smash Brothers menu theme. That was awesome. I'll give you a link actually to the live video here. Whoops, I can't even spell super properly. I think that'll go to it. Hopefully. Let's see. I played a game called Kingdom. I think it's already out on Steam, so just check it. Alright, third day. I might have missed some things, but whatever. If I missed them, then they must not have been too important. I'll get them on the blog. You can check that. I'm plugging myself way too much today. So, third day. I had heard, this is a hot tip, the hot strat for how to do E3 effectively. After day one, you go on eBay in the evening, and you check out what are people selling. You check eBay for E3, and you see what people are selling. And so, I saw people were selling a exclusive LEGO Dimensions figure for $60 to $80. So you could better bet. You better believe I rushed the LEGO Dimensions booth next morning to get my LEGO just to resell on eBay to make back some of the cost of the trip. And I did that. It's already sold. So, see ya. Let's see. Do I have anything else? I don't know. This is this Dishonored thing. I didn't even play Dishonored 2 demo, but I got this. Anyway, LEGO Dimensions. Holy crap, it's commercials on top of commercials, but the game is actually not too bad. I played like a multiplayer capture the flag thing with like Jake the dog and Ghostbusters and Green Arrow and just random characters. It's all a big advertisement, but yeah, it's not actually a bad game. It's just a really expensive, I feel bad for any parent whose kid gets into it kind of game, because you have to buy the portal to scan in the characters, and you have to buy additional sets if you want more stuff, and it's just like, oh man, it gets so expensive. I tried Steep, which is a snowboarding, skiing, gliding kind of game for maybe multi-platform. I don't know. You go on the mountain wherever you want, and you ski and snowboard down, and you hit challenges along the way and do races and stunts. And it sounds like a generic kind of snowboard game, and it almost is, but I thought it was fun. There you go. That's the story of that. Story of Steep. It's pretty fun if you like snowboards and skis. I finally bit the bullet then and stood in the line for Recore, which I thought looked pretty cool. Apparently, some of the developers from Metroid Prime worked on Recore, so that like added the interest, and it did turn out to be really good. I think it was third person shooter with some platforming, so you can like dash around, jump and dash, double jump. There's like enemies that are awesome, and you have sort of like Metroid Prime where you switch your beam with the D-pad. This has an even faster switching thing, so you have 4 different colors on the D-pad, different guns, and they do work slightly differently, and you switch to the color that matches the enemy color you're fighting to get higher damage. And once again, you can't like spam your gun constantly because you have to wait for it to recharge, but you can spam it somewhat, and you can also charge it and shoot, and then you have like a partner that can power up and do a super attack. So there's a lot of like managing things that are refilling and using them effectively to beat things fast. The demo was surprisingly challenging, and pretty much nobody finished the demo because it was so long. But Recore was very good, like super responsive, fluid controls, really fun to just run around and blow stuff up, and challenging, and just good gameplay. Like, it's really good. That's coming out for Xbox One and PC. So yeah, ReCore was my second favorite game after Zelda. But like I said, I didn't try a lot of the big games, but yeah, I liked it. ReCore was very cool. I played the new Star Ocean a bit. It plays like a JRPG. It's very pretty, but it's a JRPG. Didn't seem super special, but like I said before, RPGs you can't really get a feel for with just a demo, so you'll just have to find out later, I guess. Kingdom Hearts 3 was not there. I played Kingdom Hearts 2.8 with whatever crazy subtitle it has. It was Kingdom Hearts. Some of it had really nice graphics, some of it was just okay graphics. But, I don't know, it's Kingdom Hearts, and I think half of it, or all of it, is remakes of other Kingdom Hearts games. Yeah, you know, I was thinking the same thing, Fastfly. The gameplay was very... Oh, for Steep. Yeah, I was thinking Bound when you said that. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, though. It didn't seem like there was a huge variety of tricks you could do, but maybe they were only telling me the simple things because it was a demo. I mean, you can, like, rotate and do grabs, and that's, like, all I learned to do. So, yeah, that is definitely a concern with Steep. Let's see, I tried a little bit of I Am Setsuna, which is another RPG. It has a battle system that's almost exactly like Chrono Trigger. Oh, by the way, Fastfly, I sent off your envelope today. So thanks again for helping support the trip. I do appreciate it very much. And in my letter, I said that I hadn't done my E3 recap video yet, but now here I'm doing it. But you'll see that. So I Am Setsuna, the battles are very much like Chrono Trigger. It has a soundtrack that's like all mellow, sort of sad piano music, which is interesting. I've heard the story is sad. So if you like sad games that play like Chrono Trigger, I Am Setsuna seems to be the game. Let's see. The last thing I did, I probably missed some things. I might check my blog after this to refresh, because I haven't totally written about everything. I was wandering around the fringes of the halls with, like, mostly business things that you can't really do anything with. And somebody was like, hey, want to try a VR vacation? It's guided meditation, relaxation. I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, it's only a 5-minute wait. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So that was with Gear VR, with the Samsung, like you have the phone in the thing. And, yeah, you basically sit in a scenic area, and it has like this person's voice telling you how to relax and like walking you through relaxation things. They have different guided relaxation according to different things. So I did the anxiety one in a forest. It was pretty chill. You could like take your heart rate on this thing beforehand and then after to see if your heart rate changed. My heart rate actually went up, but it was pretty low to begin with, so it was a not very significant difference. But yeah, it was relaxing. It was a free app, so why not? Did Blizzard? I don't remember. What would Blizzard have? I don't remember seeing anything Blizzard. I wonder, I might have it in this. Let me check the... let's... Oh nice, there's a directory on the bottom of the maps. They could have been still hyping Overwatch. I don't think Blizzard had anything. There was Bethesda, Ubisoft, Capcom, Square Enix, Take-Two, a couple smaller things. It doesn't look like Blizzard had anything though. I think it was Monster. Or no, was it Monster? One of the smaller places had a Rocket League tournament that was going on. And you could win something. They had people arm wrestling for stuff. They had like this lady, this girl was gonna arm wrestle, and they're like, alright, who's she gonna go with? And they picked this like middle-aged woman in a wheelchair for her to arm wrestle, and she's like, no! I'm gonna break her arm. I know, no Space Station Silicon Valley 2. E3 was a terrible year this year, no Space Station Silicon Valley 2. Too bad. Alright, let's see. Let me pull up my list to see what I missed. I do have some off-screen gameplay stuff on YouTube, but it's off-screen. You could probably find better stuff. I'm not even going to try to plug myself on that. Probably the best thing on my YouTube channel from E3 is the interview with the translator. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just going to quickly see what I missed here. Real quick, if I missed anything. I think I hit all the main indie games I was going to talk about. No dancing this year either. Where's last year's dance? Hold on, we got to get last year's dance up. The highlight from last year. I got second highest on the cringe subreddit for that. Let's get that one. Good memories. Where is it? Here we go. Oh boy. A good 10 minutes. Oh my gosh. I might have actually hit everything I played. I think I might have covered everything. Nice. Nice. My recap was much more efficient than last year. So... Wow. So stern. Oh man. Did I have anything else? Oh, I did get a Recore shirt. Alright, I got a Recore shirt. You probably can't even see it. It's got this guy on the bottom. It has had like some hard to read thing on the back. I don't know, you can't even see it. Recore shirt. Yeah, I learned all that from Crusher Pants. So yeah, what? I guess that's it then. I guess that's everything I did at E3. I probably did some other things. There's a lot of waiting in line. General, how it's like to be at E3, it's like waiting in lines. Having really sore feet and pressuring yourself to play everything you want to play in the time limit. But there is plenty of time, unless you're doing all the popular games, and there's no time. But, yeah. It's a good time. I'm glad I went. I had more fun this year than I did last year. But that also could be because I was less stressed out because I knew exactly how it worked. And, I got better sleep this time. Although not great sleep. I don't know. Any questions, you guys? You have any questions about E3? That's the main stuff. That's pretty much it. Like I said, lots of cool people to talk to, and you can just ask questions. I asked a lot of questions about Rain World, everything game, other stuff. Otherwise, that's about it. Well, if that's it, maybe I could just play video games. Cosplay? Not too much, actually. Not really. I think I saw one person cosplaying as Link. And some people that worked there cosplaying. So they had some people at the Tekken, they had a giant Tekken statue at the entrance to the expo center, or whatever, the convention center. And they had some people dressed as Tekken characters to get pictures with. And at the Shantae demo, they had somebody dressed as Shantae. And there was one other person I saw in costume. I forget who it was, though. They had people in a, like, Sackboy suit and a, was it Jak and Daxter, or the other guy? Ratchet and Clank? Jak. I think it's Jak and Daxter suit that was, like, working there. But most of the people visiting, or most of the people that were, like, attending it, weren't cosplaying. It got really hot, also. Depending on where you were, it was hot. Because there's, like, all the electronics running and all the people. So, that was another thing. Oh, also there was a also when I was looking at the Fringe booths, I didn't try this, but there was a Naughty VR demo, which had pictures of women with almost nothing on, and it was amusing because there was like nobody at all these other booths, and then at this booth there was this surprisingly long line of like all these men wanting to try Naughty VR. I was like, oh boy. I did not try it. I didn't try it. Why would I try such a thing? No, no. They didn't have any anime girls. Anime girls are nothing, man. Oh boy. Yeah. Any other questions? I can't speak for that. You have to ask Trihex. Maybe Trihex tried that one. Yeah, I'm out. Waifu VR. I'm sure there are things if you get it on your computer. I'm sure there are some Waifu VR. Actually, I heard that was the best part of the Final Fantasy 15 VR demo. They said that, like, in general, it was basically just like watch a cutscene through VR, but the biggest appeal was you get to sit in the car with the sexy Final Fantasy character. Did he really? Oh man, Trihex would. Yeah, so the Final Fantasy 15 VR was like sit next to a cute Final Fantasy girl in a car, and that's the best part of the demo. And they were saying like you could like tell they were leaning over to like get close. But unfortunately I did not get to try any of the PSVR demos this year. I did get to try it last year and it was pretty awesome, but unfortunately not this year, even though I tried. Oh yeah? Oh yeah, I think I actually saw his girlfriend, Marks. I think she was with him whenever I met him. I don't know, maybe she tried it too. It's hard to tell when Trihex is joking. I don't actually watch him that much these days, but I used to watch Trihex quite a bit. Every now and then I pop in, and then I'm like, oh, he's not actually playing the game. I'm too impatient. Well, shoot, I don't know what to play now. I have to like plug things in. I have to like actually play video games on Twitch. I've been having terrible sleep, so that's why I haven't been streaming as much this week. Sorry about that, guys. Let's take this hat off. It's getting too hot. Take the badge off. I'm not E3. I don't need it.